The Glycine Airman #1. This might be my favorite watch in my collection. I looked for this watch for well over a year before I found this exact reference. The white dial with what is called the Purist edition, which is a 24-hour dial. It makes reading the time a little tricky if you're not used to it, but after owning the watch for a little while, I've grown accustomed to it. You can read about the history of this watch on websites. Lots of good ones out there by Hodinkee and other watch sites. But if you love kind of the vintage look, but don't want to deal with suspect reliability or an unknown service history, this is the way to go. This has a modern movement in it from Sellita. It's going to be durable, more or less. And in this video, I just want to talk about a couple of things that I like about this watch, a couple of things I don't like about this watch, things that maybe you can't read about on websites that review it. So this watch was the second reissue. The first reissue came out in 2014. That one had a little bit different lume. It had lume at the every single hour, so had lume at the 0, 1, 2, 3, whereas the 2017 or 2016, I don't know, reissue that I have here only has it at the even hour markers. So, I would appreciate more lume, especially since this lume isn't very good. If you're used to Seiko quality lume, this is going to fall short. It's just not very thickly applied and not very luminescent. But what is good about this watch, the crystal, it's an acrylic crystal. It's the only watch I own with an acrylic crystal, and it is just beautiful. The way it distorts at an angle, the warmth, just adds a whole lot of charm to the watch. And I hate that word, charm. You can't quantify it. But it just feels different. It feels warm. It's not as clear, so you lose clarity, and it's starting to show some faint scratches after about 1.5 years of me wearing it. But I think it's definitely one of those things where you don't appreciate it until you have it in your hand and see it in person. One downside about the crystal is that the way it fits into the watch case is through almost like a friction fit. It doesn't make for a very good seal. The way a sapphire or mineral crystal sits inside a watch case will allow greater levels of water resistance. So there's no gasket in here, and as a result, this is only water resistant up to 10 meters. Which I need to add is a difference between this 2016 one and the 2014 original reissue, which had 100 meters water resistance with an acrylic crystal. So it can be done. Glycine argued that 10 meters water resistant was more true to the original, but it seems strange to make a watch worse in an effort to to be more historically accurate. This watch, another thing I love about this watch is just how it pairs with so many different straps. So I have it here on a kind of a paratrooper style elastic strap from Cheapest NATO Straps. And you guys know I love Cheapest NATO Straps. But I have a couple other straps here that this watch works super well on. It works well just on a normal black NATO. It works well on leather bands and leather straps. So just imagine that. Imagine that right there. It's beautiful. This is a strap that I got from my friend who runs an Etsy store. He makes beautiful leather goods. It goes well on. It's just so many colors, especially greens and khakis and browns. Look at that. This is more of an olive drab Zulu. It just pairs so well, and if you like changing straps obsessively like I do, this is a great watch for that. And I think just a couple more things I want to talk about before I end this video. The lugs, they are really long. Look at that. So I don't know offhand the exact measurements. I believe it's like 44 or 45 millimeters lug to lug distance. And given that the case is only 36 millimeters in diameter, which is the exact diameter of the original, these are really tall. Look, see what I mean? So, you know, I'll put it on my wrist. I have a 6.5-inch wrist on the smaller side. So this 36mm watch, let me put it on off camera, it's a little bit easier. This 36mm watch is a good size for me, and especially with these long lugs, it would also work on a bigger person. So here's what it looks like on my wrist. The lugs don't overhang or anything. They don't really come close. But you know, if you were a bigger person, this would, it still carries a lot of like presence or whatever on your wrist, just because how long and thin these lugs are. You know, not for everyone. Some people don't like this look. They prefer a more kind of squat, stout look. But you know, here's how it looks on my wrist. Here's the locking mechanism for the 24-hour bezel, and ooh, the action on this is, it reminds me of turning the knob on a really expensive stereo, if you know what I'm talking about. It has just the slightest bit of friction, and you can hear kind of like a slight sound. Let me see if I can get the sound on the camera. I don't know if my camera is good enough to pick up the sound, but you know, the sound it makes is excellent. It's a really faint sound and a little bit of friction. It just feels great to turn. Great watch to fidget with. I don't normally, you know, fidget too much with the bezel, but you know, great for tracking a second time zone. And all in all, just a really good watch. Doesn't have very good water resistance. The loom isn't very good, but I think it looks great. Goes with a variety of different straps and can pair with different things you're wearing. Can be a sport watch if you put on a NATO. It can be a dressier watch if you put on a nice leather band. So very versatile, good for travel. But like I said, has some shortcomings, which I did want to kind of talk about. But really just minor nitpicks. Otherwise, excellent watch. Love it so much. All right, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you like these kind of things. I can try to make more with my other watches. But yeah, until next time, bye-bye.